Micro- Microphone check. This is the IC109 podcast.
You're at 109 right now.
In the background, I will be playing, what is this? My most recent video on my new channel, Allah. The new channel is on YouTube. It's entitled Allah. Allah is an acronym. It's spelled ALLA. It's what is it? It's a compilation. No, it's a joint effort. So A stands for Arius, L is for me, Larry, and then LA stands for Los Angeles. So the name of Allah, the name of it is Arius and Larry in Los Angeles. And so it's been quite a long time since we've just like 8 months. I was out of the country during summer vacation for like 2 months, and yeah, we haven't been actively producing work together as a, what is it called when two artists come together and make something like a rap? It's not a compilation. Um, Coordination, collab. It's a collaboration. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new one. Dish. No. Um, So in the background, I'm gonna play the audio for this video that I most recently, I mean tonight, I uploaded it. So what you hear now is well, I mean what you're gonna hear soon is the in the background is the audio. I'm not talking in the background; it's just audio, and I'll just sort of narrate. I'll just give you a little bit of a taste, a little taste of what's going on in the background. Anywho, it's too much to describe. I'm not very good at describing things, which is something I've discovered as I have been embarking on this podcast journey. But as you will hear it now.
How can you lose when you're doing you?
It's a marathon. You're at 109 right now.
I see black man.
All right, so that was the intro. You heard Nasir Jones, the rapper, say, "How can you lose when you're doing you?" That's a motivational statement, you know, for myself and for others. Then you hear Ice Cube saying, it's a clip from his song. I forgot what song it's called, but he says, "Life ain't a sprint, it's a marathon," which calls in or relates to Nipsey Hussle. And then we have Kobe Bryant, who says, "You're at 109." So those are the three sound bites that I use in the intro to the video. What you hear right now is you're listening to the sounds of New York. And I was filming the video 3 years ago when I visited New York. Yeah, so you're listening to New York, sounds of New York, all right? So I was just capturing my moments in New York when I visited 57 Great Jones Street, which is the address where Jean-Michel Basquiat lived, created artwork, and died. I believe he lived there for 5 years. It says on a placard outside of the location, 1983 to 1988. I'm going to reduce the volume. I'm going to bring the volume down, turn it down a little bit. And so I was there 3 years ago in New York where I was filming New York. I really wanted, you know what it was that brought me to New York? It was the Jean-Michel Basquiat exhibit, King Pleasure, which I thought was only available in New York. And I was like, I don't want to miss the opportunity to go there to see that exhibit. So I flew to New York to attend the exhibit. And then after the exhibit ended in New York in 2022, the exhibit opened in, I think, 2023 in Los Angeles, and it had its run. And I was like, I was great. I was grateful. I was excited for the exhibit, but yeah, I thought it wasn't coming to Los Angeles, but it was. But all is not lost. The fact that I went to New York was wonderful for me. It was wonderful for um, learning, for me to see, where, Basquiat lived, and just to get a better understanding of, his art and artwork. Um, and while I was in New York, I used Instagram to contact Basquiat's Jean-Michel Basquiat's schoolmate, his high school classmate, Al Diaz, and I contacted him, and he was gracious enough to let me meet him. He said, I asked him if I could interview him, video and interview him and everything. In fact, on the at the end of this video, you will hear Albert Diaz's voice. It's Albert Diaz's voice. He's the one who says October 9th. That's when it starts. That's the quote. That's the soundbite from Albert Diaz. While we were talking, I was telling him about 10/9 and everything, and then Albert Diaz put it together, and he was like, October 9th. So that's when it starts. And it was like, exactly, man. Exactly. Um, so anyway, yeah, so I messaged him and I said, "Hey, can I interview you?" He said, "Yeah, sure. If you come to Brooklyn, I'll meet you and we can do that." That was dope. All right, so the music that's playing now is it's going into the end of the video. So I've already shown you Basquiat's studio and given you a taste of that location. I'm gonna turn the video down some more. Um, the reason why I'm even talking about Basquiat right now is because Roger Guenveur Smith. I probably butchered his last name. Actor, legendary actor. This guy has a one man show, and I'm gonna go to see it. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to have learned about it tonight because I was on because I don't know, because I don't learn about things before they happen. I'm not so connected that I know. But tonight I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw something about it. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I know that. I know that actor. I know him, and I really appreciate him because I learned recently that he was a friend of Jean-Michel Basquiat's." And I'm like, "Wow, man." So I'm like, "Hey, if there's anybody I can talk to about Basquiat, if I get an opportunity, I would love to. I want to put myself, in a room with him. So if there's an opportunity to ask him a question about Basquiat, his relationship, his friendship, I want that to
I just
work
don't
out."
quit. That's the only distinguishing quality
There's
for me
Nipsey
and probably whoever else going through
at
this
the
or
end of the
went through
video.
this or is gonna go through this is that I ain't quit.
How can you lose when you're doing you?
Here's
You're at 109 right now.
October 9th. That's where it starts.
You see, it's the same old thing.
all right. So I had a number of sound bites there. One was the last one is Alan Watts. Alan Watts says, "You see, it's the same old thing." And the reason why that sound bite is important is because it's Alan Watts saying something that supports the work of Jean-Michel Basquiat and Al Diaz, their collaboration. When they were youngsters, they collaborated to create a new religion called Samo. Like Jean-Michel Basquiat wrote this paper about Samo, talking about what kind of religion it is. When you delve into his story, you will come across this the story about the paper that Jean-Michel once wrote, in which he was writing about the creation of this new religion called Samo, and you can learn a little bit more about that. So Samo is essentially what Alan Watts said when he was lecturing. He said, "You see, it's the same old thing." So that is, you hear that after you hear Al Diaz, the creator of, the co-creator of Samo, the religion, And the name Samo, the religion, was borrowed from African American, as he described it, from older African Americans who would say, older African American men who would say, like, hey, how's it going? Oh, same old same old shit, same old same. So they borrowed that same old. They took that and they ran with it. So they made same old popular. Jean-Michel Basquiat and Al Diaz made same old popular. Same old. And you have Alan Watts saying, you see, it's just the same old thing. He's saying it as well. So those are juxtaposed. You hear those one after the other. And then you hear I think you hear the Kobe Bryant, you're at 109 now. And then before that, you hear Ice Cube, life ain't a sprint, it's a marathon. And then before that, you hear Nas once again saying, how can you lose when you're doing you? Something like that. So those are those sound bites. I had to describe that. I had to explain those for listeners. All right. Um, but Basquiat, I talk a lot about Basquiat. Basquiat this, Basquiat that. So Roger Guenveur Smith has a one-man show. I'm going to go see the show in 2 days on Thursday, and I'm thinking about buying another ticket on for Friday because it says that he's going to have a discussion on Friday. I should have read the fine print, but whatever. You know, being there, experiencing that, experiencing, seeing someone who was friends, with Basquiat, that's going to be cool. All of that's going to be cool. So whatever happens, happens. You dig? Um, but I'm making this post right now, this podcast, because I just watched a video by Mr. Ballen. Mr. Ballen. This today is October 21st, 2025. It is 12:24 p.m. or excuse me, 12:24 a.m. In the wee hours. And I just finished watching a video by Mr. Ballen. Ballen, Ballen. This guy has 10 million subscribers on YouTube. And within 2 days, his video was able to garner, 1 million views. And I think that he's so good with talking, with holding people's attention, with storytelling, that for him, for his channel, I bet the people who watched his videos, they didn't skip it, they didn't stop, fast forward, rewind, they didn't, go to another channel. I'm sure they watched all 30 minutes of that video. I think it was about 30 minutes long. Because that's how good he is. He's so descriptive. He's such a good storyteller. You can just listen to him and he'll tell you things and you'll just be like, I'm with you, man. Now, I must admit, there were times during his video when my mind, went off and I started thinking of other things and I had to rewind several times. But I finished the whole video. I did that because the stories were quite interesting. And that's something that I hope to do with my podcast and with everything that I'm doing with the YouTube and stuff. I'm trying to capture imaginations and interest, and trying to hold people's interest by what I'm telling them. I hope what I have to tell you is interesting, and somewhat significant. Anywho, excuse me. So let's get back to Basquiat. Roger Guenveur Smith, his one man show, and Basquiat. I've always been a fan. I've made some recent videos about Basquiat, and I have my story about 109, and and about this 109 connection to Mr. Ballen. This video that I watched tonight. All right, so Mr. Ballen talks about Jose Luis Jordan Peña. And listening to this story got me worried. I'm worried and I am disappointed, right? Here's the story. The story about Mr. Peña. This guy was from Spain. All right, he died in 2014. He wasn't. He lived in Spain, and he was a member of a UFO. I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to give you. I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to, you know, just chop it up and give you only the bits and pieces that I want you to know for the purposes of this podcast, of my podcast. So there's this guy in Spain, and he's a member of a UFO group, a bunch of people who believe in UFOs in Spain. He's a member of the group. He plots, he schemes, he creates a ruse. He decides that he's going to prove how gullible people are, how gullible these people are in Spain. He sets out to do this. So he fabricates a story, fabricates proof. He has pictures, he has letters, and it's an ingenious plan. He sends out this information to people in his particular group, in the same group that he's a member of. He sends it to all of these people. These are letters that are addressed from aliens. And it's pretty convincing because they've got an alien symbol on them, and there's a picture that has the alien spacecraft, which has the alien symbol on it as well. So everything is just like it makes a lot of sense. It's quite convincing, and this is happening in the 1960s. But he created all of this nonsense, all of this bullshit, and he's actively playing with his fellow club members, but they believe it. They fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And so they believe that there's an alien trying to communicate with them, and that the pictures that this Mr. Pena has created is, that the picture is real. But and Mr. Pena's position in the group, he's the only one who is fervently skeptical, saying, "No, I don't. We shouldn't believe this." Of all of the people who have fallen for his ruse, for his who are gullible enough to believe that these aliens sent out letters and there's a picture of this alien and all this kind of stuff. Um, for all of them, it's real, it's true, but Mr. Pena is the only one who actually is orchestrating this whole you know um, lie, and he's the only one who's saying, no, let's not be so gullible. Let's look at the facts. Let's study these things more carefully. Let's use our logic and reason, and not get too emotional about what we think that we have experienced or whatever. So anyway, this Mr. Pena guy, he literally got the whole group um, aroused, energized. The people actually believe they've been contacted by an alien through these letters, and this whole thing goes on for like 30 years. But Mr. Pena, because he said no, I don't believe it, he quietly steps away from all of the energy, the fervor, the excitement around this alien interaction. He quietly, steps away, steps aside. While meanwhile, members of the group profess that they believe it and they just keep going on with it for years and years and years. Even there are members of the group who die believing that it was a real encounter with aliens, and then there were at least four suicides um, by members or people who were outside of the organization, because like the whole lie just started to spread, and it grew so much so that just random people in Spanish society in Madrid and other cities or whatever started to receive these letters, and they believed, oh, I've been contacted by an alien as well. And it wasn't because of what Mr. Pena had done, but there were other organizations, copycat organizations that said, hey, maybe if we send these letters out, we can fool people as well. So Mr. Pena got the ball rolling, and the people fell for fell for his BS, and then other people decided to play along, and so basically all of Spain was engulfed in this fervor, this UFO excitement, and there were really, you know, like causes. There were people behind all of this, right? Okay. So what the heck am I talking about it for? Well, my story about 109. 109, right? Um it's not me lying. I'm not like the whiz. I'm not, pay attention to the pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. There's nothing like that. Okay? I'm honestly retelling events in my life, and I'm showing the evidence of exactly what happened. All right? So, and I'm here to tell you that I'm not lying, right? All right, that's what 109 is. 109 is just the retelling of these moments where I just encountered those numbers, but then I also found that those numbers were written on Jean-Michel Basquiat's painting, and then that painting I found a picture of Nipsey Hussle. Like all of those details are real, okay? But here's the thing that I want people to listen to and get, all right? As I was reading, okay, after I watched Mr. Ballen's video about Jose Peña, I went to the I went to his Wikipedia page, and there was information about how the CIA helped Mr. Peña fool these people. There was a sentence in there that said that that Mr. Peña and the CIA worked together. All right. So when I heard that, that's when I was disgusted. I was upset. I was like, wow, that's uncool. So I'm saying that to say this. I'm not affiliated with the CIA. Never been contacted, communicated by anybody. All right. Although I will say that these 109, these 10-9 moments have very much felt like CIA involved, events. From my perspective, I was looking at it like, who knew that I was staying at this hotel? Who knew that I was going to be assigned this hotel room? And who knew that if I went into the hotel, that to put those numbers on that particular television? Because that's what happened when I was in Bahrain. Now, if you're working for the CIA, all you have to do is just pay a little attention to what little Larry is doing on his weekends. And it was like most weekends, I was leaving Saudi Arabia where I worked. I had a job, I was an English teacher. Mind you, it was a military, United States military contract, okay? And I will say this before I continue any further. You can make a big mistake. I was watching this video the other day. This man said he was filming a video, and a guy walked right in front of his video, in front of his camera, and he said, "Man, that guy didn't pay attention. That guy was rude." And the guy he was talking to said, "Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence." And he went on and he said, people are just living their lives, and they're not, they did not, that man who walked in front of his camera was not intentionally trying to sabotage his video. All right. So never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. All right. All right. So let's go back to me talking about that hotel room where I saw 109. When I saw it, I immediately thought to myself, man, someone is keeping tabs on me. Someone knows where I am at all times, and they're trying to secretly kind of intimidate me, kind of let me know. They're maybe it's a breadcrumb. It's like, hey, man, we know where you are. We know what you're up to. Those numbers, yeah, we know what those numbers mean to you. That's why we put them on that television for you to see because we know which hotel room you're in and et cetera, et cetera. So that's how I felt walking into that hotel room, seeing those numbers on that uh, on that television. But of course, I downplayed it, or rather, I said to myself, I'm not that important. I'm not that important that the CIA would be looking for me. I'm not an arms dealer. I'm not this uh what would it be? I'm not I'm not this nefarious, individual, yada yada yada. I'm none of that. So why would the CIA be interested in me? You know? That's how I resolved that moment of anxiety when I walked into the hotel room and saw those numbers like, wait a minute, that's wild. I was like, man, ain't nobody after me. It's just a coincidence. It was just a coincidence. Period. It was a lovely coincidence because I was like, those are my numbers. Let me get a picture of it. Man, I've been collecting these moments where I would encounter 109, and that's a bizarre moment because I didn't ask them to be assigned to that hotel room. They didn't know me. They don't know my up until that point, we're talking oh 2018, we're talking 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I didn't have a presence online like I do now, and it's phenomenal my presence. So like I went to Google yesterday and I typed in 109, IC 109, and AI, the Google response, AI assisted Google response replied something to the effect, Larry Wiggs is has created a website called IC109 where he talks about his travels and moments of synchronicity where he serendipitously found these numbers, and I'm like, it just explains everything. I didn't have that. We didn't have AI as pronounced as it is today. It wasn't 7 years ago. Nah, I wasn't, and I didn't have enough content out there for 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 that moment to have been orchestrated by the CIA or someone keeping tabs on me or whatever. That's not what happened. But the other thing is going back to that quote. I cannot attribute malice, or I cannot attribute saying that the CIA put that forced me, or the CIA matched me with that room and put those numbers there. That's that's attributing, like um, efficiency and competence and um, yeah, just that's attributing all the good stuff to the CIA or to any organization. When the reality is that so much of our society and so many organizations are not efficient. They are not efficiently run. I mean, look, I studied finance when I was in school, and it was the whole idea of efficient markets. That's just an idea that markets are efficient because you can find inefficiencies in markets. Information is not, you know, like information is not so widely spread at all times. The idea is that that markets are efficient. Now, by that, what that means is like you can. It's not like you're gonna buy. It's not like there's gonna be one gas station that sells gas for like $5 a gallon, in one area, and then down the block it's gonna be sold for $1. Like that's too great a disparity, right? It's not like, oh, if you go over here, these people haven't been informed that the price of gas has gone up, so they've been selling it at $1 in this city. You can get it for $4 in that city. Oh, and that city selling it for 5. No, because you'd be able to go to that city that sells it for $1 and you benefit. That would be the arbitrage, right? I'm borrowing that I remember learning a little bit about arbitrage about in finance, something about triangle arbitrage or triangle currency exchanges. You find three. I don't know. I shouldn't even broach that subject because I don't even remember how to fully explain it. I think I have an idea. I think that's where I get in trouble. I think I have an idea of something, but if I can't explain it simply, then I don't understand it, and I shouldn't even bring it up. So maybe markets are efficient because when you look at gas prices, everybody has relatively the same gas prices. You're not gonna go to a place 1 block away and they're selling gas at some ridiculous amount, $1 a gallon, and over there it's $5. Everywhere else it's $5. Like, what the hell's wrong with that gas? $1. Nah, get with the program, man. Everybody knows these are efficient markets. So anyway, I wish I had someone to talk to. I wish I wasn't just talking to myself. I know that I'm talking to an audience here. I am sharing my thoughts, but I wish I could bounce these ideas off of someone. I wish someone were here so I could bounce these ideas off. But so back to the CIA. Yeah, that was just a moment of anxiety. But when I heard about Mr. Peña's story, like Mr. Peña was able to send out these letters to people in the group, all right, in the immediate membership of the group. But then those letters were sent out to thousands of people around Spain. Mr. Peña wasn't going to pay for that and send out all that stuff. He had to have help. And so they mentioned something about the CIA supporting him. So my goal is um, not to fool people, not to lie to people, but my experiences with 109 have very much felt like, hey, is the CIA following me? Because here's the thing: I have that moment when I was in Bahrain, Manama, Bahrain, and I walk into my hotel room and there's 109 on the television. Not the television wasn't on; it was a satellite box above the television with the frequency 109 set on it, whatever. Then I was in Ethiopia going to the bathroom and I passed the door on my way to the bathroom where the number 109 had been written there. So that made me feel like this. All right, someone's following me. Someone knew I was going to be there where I was, and it isn't it 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 is it isn't inconceivable that, or rather, it is conceivable that at some point I'm going to need to go to the bathroom. Therefore, someone writes 109 on a door en route to the bathroom, knowing, well, he doesn't know where the bathroom is. He's going to be looking around for signs, for a door sign that says a bathroom. He'll see this sign and someone writes it on the door. Someone on the CIA writes it on the door. Because when I was in Ethiopia, that's what happened. I was walking to the bathroom and I saw that someone had written 109 on the door. And I was like, okay, now who's playing a trick on me? Who's fucking with me? That's how I felt. Like, you know what? Those are my numbers and I see them and they're not supposed to be there. Because 109, a number that starts with 100, it's supposed to be on the first floor. But no, I'm on the second floor where the number does not belong, and yet someone wrote 109 on the door. I'm like, come on. You are messing with me. That's why that was another moment. I'm in Ethiopia and I'm like, is the CIA here with me? Did they follow me? Did they put that there so I would see that? What's going on? Yeah. And then when 109 started to happen, when it started to make or be pronounced, when I started to see it, I did not. When I was in Korea and I made the connection between my birthday and the holiday, I didn't think that there was never a moment of paranoia where, oh my gosh, that's such a big coincidence. This is something's happening, someone's orchestrating. No, that was just purely a coincidence. That happened in 2007. That was purely a coincidence. But then, as these things started to add up, like, okay, let's go that weekend, that birthday weekend that I had in Japan, whereby I went to the ramen restaurant and the usher seated me in seat 10. I look up and I see 10-9. Okay. Then, like the next day, I'm leaving Japan and the ferry number is 109. That's another moment for me to just be like, wait, what's going on? But that didn't spike my paranoia. That just made me say, oh, that's interesting. That's curious. I'm going to take a photo of it as evidence. That's my birthday. Haha. Good coincidence. Good synchronicity. And then when I got to Korea and I had to jump on the train to go home, and my seat assignment again was in seat number or row number 10, I look up and I see 10-9 on the train in the train car, and I'm like, it's happening again. Yeah, the little paranoia meters picked up, but it was more a curiosity meter. It was like my curiosity had peaked. I was like, okay, what's happening? Why are these people choosing, or why am I being assigned a seat in row 10? Like, that was my legitimate question. Why was I assigned a seat at counter number 10? Like, why does this keep happening? And it was around my birthday, so I thought it was a cool thing. But then also, it was like, do people know? Like, when they are, I don't know, do people know my birthday? Okay, for instance, the woman who gave me my ticket for the train, did she, excuse me, did she, like, when I registered for the ticket, okay, what's your name? What's your alien registration number? I don't think I had to give her any of that information. But had I given her my name, my alien registration number, which you need when you're in Korea or a foreign country, you have to be registered. I was wondering, maybe she saw my birthday pop up on the document. And as she was assigning the seat to me, she just looked at my birthday and said, okay, where should I assign him a seat? And she probably looked at 10 and like, okay, you're in row 10 because your birthday's in October. There you go. I kind of rationalized that. I kind of thought about that, but I just did. I don't have any explanation for why in that particular weekend those things happened, the way that they unfolded, the way that they did. Now, cut to 12 years thereafter, or not 12 years, 10 years. 10 years thereafter, and I've had these moments where, for instance, when I was in Ireland, I walked around and then I went to a restaurant. I sat down to eat in Ireland, and then I got my bill, and I was customer number 109. Um, that was another one of those strange moments because there I was getting 109. But the other thing that was strange about it is I was filming myself, and I found that in the video I had filmed a man who was at the restaurant, at the same restaurant that I was at. And then the man was also at the airport where I was. So so when I saw the same man in two different locations, and I was like, that made me wonder, does he work with the CIA? Is he the one? Is it that guy? Because, and I made a video about this. I put this video up. It's called That Guy. That Guy. If I'm not mistaken, right? I think I did that. I see 109, That Guy. Because Tyler the Creator has a no. It's not called That Guy. Excuse me. All right, so Tyler the Creator's video is called That Guy. But I made a video 3 years ago entitled 109 The Dude. Somebody's watching me, and then I have Braveler, I see 109. Somebody's watching me. So there it is. That's the title, 109 The Dude, not That Guy. Anywho, the that video is about a man who is at the restaurant. He's in the back. He's at another table, and I'm filming myself, but you can see him in the background. And then when I get to the airport, he's on the same flight as am I, and he's actually sitting across from me, and I'm filming my surroundings. And the crazy thing about the moment when I'm filming this guy and filming my surroundings is that over the loudspeaker you hear someone say, you hear the announcement, you can now board the flight at gate 109. Synchronicity, man. I'm telling you. Gate 109. You can hear it over the loudspeaker. That wasn't planned. That all happened the way that it did. So even though it's the same man in two locations, like I was at a restaurant, and these were days apart. This was like I was in Ireland for maybe like 72 hours. And on the first day, I was at that restaurant and that dude was there. And then on the third day, I was flying away from Ireland, and he's at the airport sitting right across from me once again. Like, wow. Yeah, it'll make you wonder. But 109, I attribute positive things to 109. 109 is not a scary thing, so it's not uh, it's not about paranoia. It's not about fear. It's all about good vibes only, right? So it gives me confidence. It makes me feel comfortable when I see 109. Yeah, but that story about Mr. Pena lying to people, deceiving them, and for 30 years. And then after the 30 years, he came forward and confessed and shared, the truth and all this type of stuff. But there were people who lost their lives, you know, within that 30-year period who believed that what was happening to them was real. Yeah, so it's sad, sad situation, sad little series. All right. So the point of this is, I'm not lying. I'm just talking about my experiences, keeping it one thou wow with the people. I'm Larry Wiggs. This is the IC 109 podcast you're listening to.
You're at 109 right now.
We've gone for about 40 some odd minutes. It's now 12:56 a.m. on October 21st, 2025. If I think I'm gonna cut this, turn the podcast off. So I think I talked about everything I wanted to. I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna take a deep breath and think about it and make sure I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Because I've just been talking. I haven't written anything down. None of this is scripted. None of this is planned. I was just talking about, hey, Mr. Peña, I watched Mr. Ballen, and Mr. Peña just, you know, that was uncool what he did. And I just wanted to clear the air like, yo, I'm nothing like that. I'm just telling you what I've noticed. This is Larry Wiggs. Call me ToQ, which means 109. And I'm just talking about things that I've noticed. And 109 is one of them. Peace and blessings, y'all. I'm out.